Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kyrus Has Friends, the show where I sit down and I talk with the people that inspire me the most, and those people are my friends. Before we get to our special guest today, if you're interested in anything that we're talking about today, please be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Instagram at The Vibe with Khy. You can also follow me on Snapchat and on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan, and you can visit my website, thevibewithkhy.com, if you're looking for videos and blogs and all types of things that'll make you do good, feel good, be good, and live a good life full of good, positive energy and good vibes. And you can also get your Vibe with Khy merchandise. Khy, I have merchandise now. I'm selling out to the man. Gotta hustle, my friend. You can get your Vibe with Khy merchandise. It's a vibe on sale, 15% off right now. But enough about me and my nonsense. I am sitting here with a good friend, a colleague, somebody who apparently I stole my name from, uh, somebody who I look up to, another Black artist that is just has been a tremendous person in my life, even though we haven't worked together technically yet, but we are, soon enough. Mr. Khy Garner, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm just sitting in my beautiful kitchen, looking out the window, and a little boredom. So I'm glad that we're doing this. I need something new to do besides stare out the window.
Man, so like, man, it is this. Who would have thought that 2020 would be this? Whatever this is, 2020, it's happening, and
hmm
now we're in quarantine, right? How are you doing? How was quarantine life for you?
well, when this all went down, I didn't know what to expect because I have a compromised immune system. I have a condition called adult Still's disease, which is like a rare form of arthritis. So I have these flare-ups that just come out of nowhere.
Right,
I'll
right,
live for 3 weeks, and then I'm in a wheelchair.
right.
You know, so I never know what my body's going to do. I also have moved my mom in with me, who suffers from lupus. So we've been taking care of each other, and this has been like really scary.
Yeah.
Like, trying to make a plan to go out to get groceries or have people drop groceries off, and like, I mean, it's been a struggle, but we've discovered a new way of living, a new
Yes.
normal. It's to the point now, literally, when groceries come in the door, like we have a routine: spray, 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 wipe,
Yes.
wipe, wipe. Like, I mean,
Yes.
it's crazy. And even though the stay-at-home order has slowly been lifted, we're still sitting keeping our butts at home for a while.
Well, and you should, because I think that a lot of people are just assuming that the virus is gone.
Yeah, like it just lifted up like a cloud, and oh,
Right.
COVID's
Like,
over.
no, this thing is still very much here. And people, people wear your mask, go out if you have to, but like, just be careful because this thing is not gone. There isn't, there isn't a cure or a vaccine, nothing yet. And like, not even just for yourself, but for the people that, that are so incredibly susceptible to the horrors that this virus brings. You
Yep.
know, stay at home for them, if anything else. Don't be selfish.
Yeah, I had a talk with a woman a couple of weeks ago,
Mhm.
from the West Coast, and she was like, I think you're blowing the numbers out of proportion, and a lot of us think that it's just a big hoax, and 9,000 people die every day of cancer, and I said, well, that's very true, but I don't know of any married couples that have died 8 days apart,
Right.
like we've witnessed here in New Jersey,
Mhm.
or in my group of friends, just my group of friends alone, 6 people have lost someone. That's a lot. That's not something random.
Right.
That's a lot. Six
And
people from
right.
your group of friends.
Man, this thing is scary. I just hope people are careful. But I mean, it sounds like you're still in good spirits.
Yep.
You're still doing your thing and trying to change lives and conquer the world. There's a couple things that I want to talk to you about today. So you are a judge on a competition called Icon. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, Icon is this singing competition that takes place in New Jersey, where these singers from all over the state have the opportunity to come and perform and win a prize, in which the end result is you get to do the show of your choice and win money and blah, 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 all this stuff. Performers from all over the state come, and it's just an incredible series of performances. You are one of the judges on there. It's kind of like American Idol, except for New Jersey singers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been a judge there for a while. What is it like having that kind of pressure to choose something like that? And while you answer that, I'm going to turn the light on because it got real dark in here real fast.
Sure. For me, being a judge, I try to come at it in two different ways. And it's something that I've said every night when I'm sitting on the panel. No one wants to be told that they have an ugly baby. Mm. So when you're presenting your gifts to the audience and to be judged by industry professionals, that takes a lot. That takes bravery, because I don't know if I could do it. You know, and I've been singing for 52 years. Yeah. I don't know if I could actually stand and be put in a contest. You know, to have to put my gifts on display to be critiqued and judged. Although going to an audition is a critique and a judgment. Yeah. So a lot of these you know, performers are used to that. Yeah. But it's I get a lot of pleasure out of it. I like watching contestants come back year after year. Yeah. I like seeing new contestants. Like it's a lot of fun for me.
That it's always fascinating to, you know, because you've been a part of this for a while, right? And you've seen, you know, the highs and lows of people. And I think one of the things that I always say to people that are either like on the fence about performing or not, I always say to them, listen, while the prizes are great and while the competition is great, this is not the end all be all for you. Mm-hmm. It does not, if you don't make it through to the next round, that does not mean that you can't sing. Right. It does not mean that you cannot act. It doesn't mean any of that. What do you say? Like when people come to you and they're like, Khy, man, I thought I sounded good that night. Why? What happened? Like what is what do you usually say to people that are just like, oh, what the hell?
That's happened. That's happened quite a few times where someone has come to me and said, I thought that my performance was one of the best performance I have ever given. And then I go, then that's your takeaway. Right. That's what it should be about what you have left on stage for that night. And if you feel like you've done your absolute best, then you absolutely have to be happy with that. Right. Someone else edged you out a little better. Right. We're looking, and it may not even be something specific. It may be a song choice. Right. It may be the way you connected with the audience. I knew one singer who slayed and just like sang his heart out, but he had his eyes closed. Right. So he shut the world off from us. And I told him, if your eyes were open, you would have like killed it that night. Sure. So it can be the smallest thing. It can be, you know, a woman singing a beautiful song, but she's singing an aria, but she's wearing jeans and a plaid shirt. I mean, it could be any little
it's about
thing.
A lot of different things. It's just about like so when you and the judges are deciding, you know, like what to I guess who should win or who should go on or whatever. What are you guys looking for? Like, what is something that somebody should have or encompass, I guess, to really be an icon?
Well, I'll be flat out, straight up honest. The it factor, and I know that's very cliche. People are going to be paying $25 to see you in a show. Can they stomach you for 2 hours? Right. You know, because you may be able to sing that one song beautifully. Right. But can you sustain? Are you able to be the lead of your own show and keep your audiences engaged for 2 hours? Or depending on what show you pick, it could be a 3-hour show. You know, do we want to sit and watch you, you know, do a 3-hour version of Smokey Joe's Cafe? Right. Are you gonna sustain me through that? You know, sustainability, the it factor, personality, you know, the conquer attitude, you know, and then also being vulnerable. Yeah. You know, do you have all of those components to make your audience have an enjoyable experience for 2 hours? Can you sustain?
Now, so obviously, like we're talking about the theater experience here, and theater is just something that's just not happening right now because of the pandemic, and a lot of us feel as though the thing that we're so used to just having always is just not there, and we just can't perform right now. What do you think theater is going to be like post COVID? Is there going to be theater? What do you think the future? I mean, obviously that's a loaded question because nobody really knows. But like,
Right.
what do you think it's possibly going to be like? Because I think it's not going to be the same ever again. I don't think. What
Well,
do you think it's going to be like?
this is now our chance to step up and do something that might not have been done before.
Yes.
There are a lot of egos in theater. A lot of egos from directors, from singers, from musicians, I'm from an era where, when I grew up in Linden, I was part of the Linden Summer Playhouse. We didn't mind getting on the floor and sewing a button on a costume or picking up a paintbrush or helping this person build a set. There's a sense of entitlement now that has happened in the theater.
Sure.
I feel like now people see that the one thing that they love has been sort of taken away. So I think they're going to treat it now with a little bit more respect.
We took it for granted.
Yeah, completely. I know that I'm
myself included.
Yep, same. I'm going to treat things differently. I'm going to treat it with more respect. We both of us, we know about directing shows, and you're like, okay, we're not going to pick this person. We're not going to pick that person. I'm going to keep my eyes open more. I'm going to be, a little more compassionate, a little more giving. So I think if every person in community theater or just in theater general were just a little more open and let their guard down and let people in and foster a sense of community. It's not just about coming to do a show, go home, or maybe go to the diner afterwards. Be friends. Make a new friend within the community theater. All of my personal friends that I love, greatest loves of my life, are people that I've met from the community theater.
Absolutely. Same.
So I think we're on. I don't know what's the future holds for us. I'm looking forward to somebody putting a show on somewhere. Imagine that house with the first person to put on a show. That house.
I hold true to the statement that I think I might have told you this before, or told somebody this, that whatever the first show back is going to be the best show that theater has ever done ever, because people have taken it for granted, myself included. Oh, I can go out and perform whenever I want. I can go out and audition for this whenever I want. And now that's not there, it's not a thing, and people miss singing and dancing, and performing and directing and choreographing and doing lights and all of this stuff. And I know from my personal standpoint, the minute that I'm back on the stage, whatever first song I'm singing, I don't care if it's I'm singing.
And not only that, the audience is going to be so appreciative, and the performers are going to be so appreciative. The applause is going to feel different. The character work is going to feel different. The camaraderie is going to feel different. You singing that duet with whomever is going to feel different. I know me, I'm a big baby. I like to walk around with, this bravado of being a strong Khy. But I know that when the curtain comes down, I will probably be a weeping mess and proud of my weeping mess.
Absolutely. So what's funny, we joke about this all the time, but like the way that I first met you was back in, I would say 2008, 2009. Well, we didn't even meet, but we were both doing a production of Ragtime at the same exact time, maybe 30-40 minutes away from each other. And we were both playing Cole House, and both of us are named Khy. Both of us. And so I know that you've had a couple times where people would just get us confused just because of the name itself. But that's when I first heard of you, when people were like, "Oh, Khy is doing Ragtime. He's playing Cole House at Ragtime." I forgot what theater it was. It wasn't
Villagers.
It was Villagers. Yeah. Oh yeah, Khy's doing. He's playing Cole House at Villagers. I'm like, no, Khy's cosplaying in Cole House at Kelsey. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, there's another Khy. What? What is this?
Yep.
And then we finally met and became friends. And there was like a just a mutual respect that was immediately had from that point forward. But we haven't actually like worked together.
Which is
not for lack of trying.
It's so disrespectful that we haven't worked together. Maybe people don't want to put two Khys in the same show.
I think that's what it is. I think it would just be too much for them to handle. You know what I'm saying? But the reason that I bring that up is because there's Black actors in general, Black performers, Black artists. There are so many that I would love to work with, but the opportunity just isn't there. And now we're at a point that we're starting to have this conversation out loud about Black opportunity, specifically on the New Jersey, New York, PA, Delaware level of community theater.
Yep.
What have been your thoughts so far on how the Black Lives Matter movement has affected community theater and the conversations that started? What has been your thoughts so far?
Well, that's a question that's so loaded and so there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, because each of us, although we've had a different experience, we've also had the same experience.
Yes.
So for me, because I don't perform as much as I used to, I'm now on the production end of it. So I'm from a different era, but from just watching, I feel like there are shows that go up or that get produced and that typically call for African American leads, and then it's the same people, same small group of people fighting for that little piece of meat.
Yes.
And so now you've got, I think I remember telling you a while ago in a competition that I was like, I'm glad that I'm not competing against you because you take the part from me, but there should be 700 opportunities, but there really isn't. How many times can we see Dreamgirls and Ragtime and Fences? There aren't enough shows.
Right.
There aren't enough shows. So then when, my complaint, my anger comes from when there is a show, and then Once on This Island that did really well, then it comes back as something completely different. And I'm all for multi-ethnic casting. I truly love multi-ethnic casting. But if you have a show that has been known as a predominantly Black show, and then you change it, now those opportunities are no longer there. I mean, The Wiz, growing up, The Wiz was a show for African Americans, and then you started seeing multi-ethnic productions of Wiz, which is fine, right? But it also became a standard.
Yes,
it became a standard to cast a multi-ethnic show. So I mean, opportunities are fewer and far between for people of color.
Right. What do you think that community theaters, I guess specifically in New Jersey, because we both have had, we've worked with a lot of different theater companies all over the state. We've worked with a lot of artists, Black and white. And I think some people for some people, this is some sort of surprise, but I know that this has been a conversation that we've been having on our inner circle for years about, this equal opportunity. And now people are starting to hear us because they have to listen to us. What do you think theaters can do better? Just some initial, first steps, hey, we can't solve racism, but try this,
I think it is no longer, and this is when you go on an audition for Broadway, or for a professional gig, it says this theater encourages actors of all ethnic backgrounds. That's not enough.
Yes.
You now need to put out, your statement should be looking to cast a multi-ethnic show. Period. So then that way, if you're putting up a show, the Hello Dolly.
Right.
Maybe Dolly can be a Black woman.
Right.
Maybe Dolly can be an Asian woman.
Right.
Maybe she can be Latina.
Mm-hmm.
but the opportunity is there, so that we're not
Right.
looking at this audition notice and going, "Hello, Dolly." Well, they're going to cast a white Dolly Levi, so I'm not even going to show up.
Right.
But if you know that they're open to casting anyone,
right.
unless it's a show that's specifically about color, like you know, you can't have a white Coalhouse Walker Jr.
Right.
You know?
Right.
How's that going to work? So, but I've seen it. I've actually seen that.
You're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart.
It was an all-white version, an all-white high school version, and they kept all of the language.
That's blasphemous.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's where it starts. Looking to cast a multi-ethnic cast of a show, Guys and Dolls.
Right.
Imagine a multi-ethnic cast of Guys and Dolls.
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Do you think that theaters should go out of their way to make sure that that's done? Or should they just say, hey, look, we're doing it, we're open to it? Or should they actively be like, hey, listen, hello, Dolly, we want to make her a strong Black woman? Should they be like that, like explicit about it?
I don't see a problem with it at all. I do not see a problem with it at all. If someone were bold enough to go, okay, we know our audiences. How is that going to change if we cast a Black woman in the role of Hello, Dolly?
Right.
You know, what does that come with? What can she lend to it that someone else hasn't done? Sure. You know what I mean? I think that would be great. I would love to see something like that. I would love it. I would love it. I would love it.
Right. Now, there's a lot of Black actors out there right now, Black artists, I should say, that are currently, and myself included, that are currently, refusing pretty much to work with theater companies right now that don't start to make efforts to improve the situation. And I know, for me, you and I have talked about this in another chat and stuff like that. And I know that, there have been, some people that are like, but why? What do you expect them to do, kind of thing. But there is a contingent of actors like myself that are just like, I am not going to perform at a theater that is not actively doing what they can to fix an obvious problem. If you were talking to any of those type of actors right now, which I guess technically you are, what would you say to those actors that are on the fence about, who would rather not perform than go and perform for a place that isn't open to that kind of stuff that we were just talking about?
It's a twofold question and a twofold answer. I would say, all right, so if you are withholding your talent from a theater company that maybe you've enjoyed working with, I would say if you had a great experience there, then maybe be a liaison to say, I want to come on your board, or I want to do something in your theater where I can be maybe a point person to say, you need to open up your demographic. Like, there should be someone on the board or someone within that theater company that has their pulse on what's happening in the world. Right. You can't be tone deaf. Right. I know I'm not going to name this particular theater company, but they're okay with their demographic. They're okay with their audience and who they get. They're okay with their shows, and they probably won't change it. And good for them. Right. Good for them. But then there are theater companies that want to open up and want to do more. So I would say to another performer, if it's a company that you've worked for, I would put that hard question out and say, all right, how can I help you? Right. How can I help you? Because I want to create an opportunity for myself and for the next guy and for the next girl and for the next person. We want to create opportunities. You just can't put your slate down and you have your 8 shows for the season and none of them involve people of color. The world doesn't operate that way. The world is not all white. Theater is not all white. Theater is Black, white, Asian, Latino, other. It's a mix. So if you're go out of your way to say, you know what, even though we've done predominantly white shows, we want to actually put the call out and say we are going to do fences. I would love fences be done at a theater that has been predominantly white. Yeah. Maybe those actors will come. Maybe those actors will show up and go, you know what, I'm going to go do that's a beautiful space. I'm going to go work for that theater because I love to show fences, and then bring new audience to your theater. You know, I would say to these actors, reach your hand out.
Yes.
Reach your hand out and hope that they take your hand.
Yes.
If they don't, go make moves in other directions.
Right. Where do you think that theaters will go from here? You know, given the number one, obviously we have the Black Lives Matter movement. Number two, let's be real, some theaters are not going to survive the pandemic.
No.
It's just what, because like just businesses are just in general are just not going to survive this pandemic, let alone theaters and the art, a lot of things in the art community. Do you feel hopeful for what comes next?
I do. I do. We come from a business where it has always been the show must go on.
Yes.
That has always been the case. And think of, and I'm sure because you're a vet from the stage, I'm a vet from the stage, we can think of many instances where the night before a show goes up, someone gets hurt, or this happens, or this light fall, like something happens, and the show always goes on. I remember an hour before a show opened, one of our guys developed a kidney stone and had to be rushed to the hospital.
Right.
We were like, what are we gonna do? He made the curtain. He was sweating like a pig. He passed the kidney stone, but he made the curtain. You know, like the show must go on. So I believe this is just a blip in the road that literally is making us get our faculties in order to find out what's really important as performers. It's a blip in the road, and I think that we're going to come back stronger.
Yes.
But we've got to really mean it, and there's got to be change. This is the one time where there has to be change. If not, then there's going to be catastrophic failure everywhere.
100%.
This is the opportunity.
This is the time.
2020 is the Great Awakening.
That's a great way of putting it, because I feel as though, as crummy as it can feel right now, I personally do feel that there's a lot to be hopeful about. I think that at this point we're going to get an artistic renaissance of some sort. Because people are at home right now, writing and practicing and doing these new things and finding new ways to express themselves, or honing in on their skills that they made. We are going to get a world of art that is just we're going to be reading about this in history books.
Right.
You know, kind of like when the Harlem Renaissance came along in the 20s.
Yep.
You know, I truly do believe that we are going to get something along those lines, and I'm excited for that, because that's just how we work as artists. We take times of darkness and we write about it, we sing about it, we dance about it, we do all of these things, we paint, we do all of these beautiful things, and I can't wait to see what comes of this. And I can't wait until I can hug people again and say hi to people and shake hands and all of that.
We are the community theater, and theater geeks in general are touchy-feely people.
Yes.
And not to be able to sit and hold hands with my friends and be able to put my hands on someone's shoulder. We are sensuous beings. We need touch.
Yes.
And to not be able to do that is cruel.
Drives me insane. I need the touch. I need all of it.
It's cruel. I think the first person that I hug, I will probably end up having a full-on meltdown.
Yeah.
Because it's somewhat like arms, and we both have experienced the same thing. We're just gonna have a big hug party. I think someone should start up a big hug party.
I think that's a great idea. We all you show that you got vaccinated, everything's all cool, right? And then it's like, all right, bring it in, let's go. Let's go. That's awesome.
Imagine the first show written about the pandemic.
Oh my gosh.
What's that going to be like? The first show that actually brings access to the pandemic. I mean, because we've got Titanic, we've got all these shows that are about world events. So I'm in my 70s. Someone may create something. I can't wait to see what spawns from.
Right.
From, like you said, this
we're gonna remember this moment, because in the year 2035, when they finally give me my own talk show, and you're a guest on there, and we're gonna be talking about the quarantine musical that's opening up on Broadway, I'm gonna play this clip and be like, I thought of it first.
The quarantine musical, it's coming.
That's right. No, dude, thank you so much for sitting with me and for talking with me and all of that. And I've always had a incredible respect for you and the work that you do. And I'm just very thankful to be able to talk with fellow Black men, that are artists, because like growing up, I didn't really have that, especially in the artistic world, because growing up in Hamilton and West Windsor and Princeton, there weren't any Black people in theater. There just weren't. I quite often find myself being the only Black person, or person of color for that matter, in a show. I was talking with Phil Solomon the other day, and I didn't even realize I never even had a Black teacher at all, ever, from preschool until college. I didn't have a single Black teacher, but that's my life. So people like you, where I can, I just have an incredible respect for, and I appreciate, the guidance that you've given me, because, you and I have had some talks, as well, about life and theater and just friendship. So I very much appreciate that, and I love you, man, for real. Thank you so much for sitting with me.
Mutual respect, brother.
Yeah, and just for let the record show, friends, that's Khy, Khy, and I'm Khy, Ky.
Yes.
So learn it.
Learn it, and look out, because we're going to do some great things.
Legit, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
Yep.
Dude, thank you so much. For everybody else, if you enjoyed watching this, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Vibe with Khy. And you can also follow me on Snapchat and on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan. And visit my website, thevibewithkhy.com, if you want some merchandise, or if you just want some blogs and some videos that'll help you be good, feel good, do good, live a good life full of good vibes. My friends, Khy, thank you so much for sitting with me again, my friend.
You're welcome, brother.
Everybody else, good vibes. Au revoir. Cool. Thanks, man. That was easy, right?